Sean and Darren here from Cloud9 with another bite size for you. Sean, the tank top. It's not. This hasn't been out all this year, so
I'm a bit warm now, though.
Yes.
And I can't be bothered taking it all off because I'm all mic'd up. That's my excuse anyway. The fact that I didn't
were you
buy
cold
the
this
shirt.
morning? Were you a little bit
Well,
cold?
it was a little bit cold. Yeah, I've got to be honest. Yeah. So it's a little 15 degrees. Is that cold?
Yeah, not really.
It's all right.
Anyway, moving
You
on.
got a question for me?
I have indeed.
Oh, great.
Hillary from Gravesend. Do you know where Gravesend is?
Essex.
It kind of Kent way, isn't it?
Oh, is it
Yeah.
Kent?
Yeah. Well, it's all part of the same thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Southeast.
Hillary, hi to you. Thanks very much for your question. Hillary's saying, now, when making an offer, what is seen as a normal level of offer as opposed to the asking price? That's always a biggie, isn't it?
Good question. It's a question we get asked a lot, actually, and there isn't a definitive answer. And the reason is, well, there's lots of reasons. Firstly, with the resale market, because there's two distinct things here. There are resale properties and then there are also new developments. With the resale market, it very much depends on who the vendor is. So it can even come down to what nationality the vendor is, because everyone has their own traditions and ways of doing business. It comes down to when the vendor purchased the property, because that will dictate how much equity that person is sitting on or not. They might have a big mortgage that they need to cover with whatever they sell it for. So there's quite a few variables in there. The other one, the big one as well, is their expectations, the vendor's expectations, and what they've been advised by their agents. So very often, I will say to a client, okay, I would expect to pay this for your property, but let's put it on here, because that allows a little bit of wriggle room for negotiations. Some vendors then come back to me and say, well, do you know what, Sean, I don't want to mess about with negotiations. Just price it as low as you think is reasonable to get us maybe under a threshold so that people search for it and find it online. But then you've got to educate them that I don't want to take any offers. So very often you might see something at 500,000 euros and that vendor will expect 500,000 euros and that vendor will expect 480,000 euros. You're just never 100% sure. Sometimes it's even down to how good a week they've had at work. Have they hit their bonus target? Do they need to sell it? And then you've got the motivation for selling. Why are they selling? Is it something that they just run out of gas with the place? They just had enough. They don't want it anymore, or is it because there's been a death or divorce, or And if you really want to get a deal, those are the awful things to look out for. I know it's terrible, but you've got to bear those things in mind. So the answer is there is no answer. And you'll be guided by this.
Sorry, Hillary.
Joking.
There's no answer here, Hillary.
Sorry, there's no answer. Your question was utterly pointless. No.
There is an answer, I'm sure.
But yeah, it just depends on so many factors. And this is where you need the help of an experienced agent who can guide you through this little bit of a minefield, who knows the market, who will do the research, find out when the property was purchased, why, what's happened in the meantime, what the circumstances of the vendors are. And that will sort of help you along with it.
So it does differentiate as well. I mean, different cultures, different nationalities. Now, don't give me the giggles, all right? Let's move on. The different nationalities, they've got a different way though, haven't they, of making cheeky offers in there or coming across as well when they're coming over. What's your thoughts with that?
Well, for instance, in England, if I were going to offer on a property, I'm looking at a property at the moment in Bath, and I know that it's on a...
So you say Bath?
Bath. Well, do you say Bath?
Bath.
Is that like scone and scone?
I think it is.
Which do you say?
I'd say both. I say both actually.
Depending on who you're with.
I think
who
so.
you're trying to.
Yes. Probably, yeah.
Well, I'm a northern lad, so it's scone and Bath.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Yes.
And it's on, I don't know, say £300,000. And I know that if I went to say, I want to go in at 250, and my partner Paul's saying, you can't do that in England. It's ridiculous, because normally they go for like £5,000 under the asking price. And a lot of British people, when they come here, they think they can make really stupid offers. And I have to remind them, well, would you do that at home? So look, it just depends. It depends who you're dealing with, the type of person. The nationality sometimes surprises you, actually, that you would expect someone to be, and they're not. So, no, there's no answer. Next question.
Which might help you more, Hillary. If you were to buy a brand new property from a developer or resale, there's difference there, though, isn't there?
There are differences. Yeah. On new developments, you shouldn't really expect any discount. And a lot of people do. They say, well, hang on, they've got 10 units left. They should give me a discount to get rid of some. It doesn't happen like that. The reason it doesn't happen is because developers don't want to be seen to be cutting prices, particularly if they've sold a similar unit to someone else 6 months before at a higher price. They just don't want that on their conscience, and they don't want people to start gossiping, because then they lose control of the pricing. So very often developers just stick rigidly, particularly if it's a good selling development. They're not under any pressure from their lenders, their funders. They haven't got any incentive to discount, so they will normally hold out for their asking prices. What they may do if they need to get over a certain threshold or sell a certain block out or a phase out, they may offer a little bit of an incentive, like, I don't know, some white goods in the kitchen, free aircon or something like that, but it won't probably be a discount off the price.
Good stuff. Hilary, I hope that helped, and please do keep those questions coming in. We always like to answer these questions, don't we?
Well, even if we can't.
Even if we can't answer the questions. Absolutely. Get in touch on the socials. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll be back next time with another bite size from Sean and myself. Catch you then.